yo, the spliff will come out. Then I hit you with an uppercut. And then I grab you by your head, you get another cut and another cut. It looked like I'm trying to buckle up and the seatbelt don't work. Yes, this is the type of shit that I like to hear when we talk about the things that we talking about tonight. Yo, it's the Guys Podcast spinoff. We got the Hip Hop Corner. It's the guy Dre. We got the guy Sean. What's happening, Sean?
Yo, what it do? What it do?
Nothing much, man. How you enjoying this? I don't know what to call it. I'm not gonna call it a holiday, so I'm just say this long weekend. How you enjoying this long weekend, brother?
Man, just trying to get some relaxation, man. I played some ball Saturday morning and just crashed for the rest of the weekend, man. That was it.
Oh, man, that's what's up. Sound like them knees probably need to ice up. So, buddy from the gym, he did call and say you was over 15 from behind the arc, but we ain't gonna talk about that on air. We'll talk about that another time.
Not at all, man. I was out there balling. Them young cats, they couldn't even hang with the kid, man. Like, yo, dude was like, yo, he's 40. I'm like, yo.
Please don't do that. If you was out there talking about say, yo, so tonight, my brother, we're gonna talk about battle rap, but we're gonna talk about it in a different type of, in different couple of senses. Of course, we're gonna talk about the rappers, the mainstream rappers that actually started out in battle rap and moved on over. We're also gonna talk about URL because that is predominantly what gets the run right now. URL and Smack. I know you have Queen of the Ring. You have the King of the Dot, you have so many different organizations out there, but URL is really when you are popping and you are that guy. So, hey man, first let's talk about what was your first exposure to battle rap?
Look at Danny, man.
Hey, Danny just mad because I ain't got on no Fila tonight. Forever I love Atlanta. He finna make me go change the hat and put on the Panthers hat. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna do that right now. I don't have time for that right now, Danny. I'm a winner.
Yo, Danny crazy, man. Yo, what it do, Danny? So what's your question, Dre? I'm sorry. Danny threw me off.
What was your first true exposure to battle rap?
Man, it had to be, it was KRS-One. The Bridge is Over. You know what I mean? Because MC Shan was one of my favorite rappers back then. Shan had everything on Smash. The whole Juice crew was like, that's Queens Get the Money. It was like all MC Shan and Juice crew. And when KRS-One came out, man, with The Bridge is Over, and he just like, yo, Queens niggas faking it. I was like, whoa, Bronx niggas. Like, yo, I was like, yo, this. And I had my uncle. He was a huge Shan fan as well, and he was like, yo, man, there's no way in the world Shan can come back from this guy. This young guy's hungry. Like, he was talking about KRS-One. And that was like when I fell in love like with really the battle rap. You know what I mean? And KRS, I don't think people realize, man, how strategic KRS is. Like when he went at Shan, he had nothing to lose. You know what I mean? It was like a setup. He did the 1-2 punch. And Shan wasn't ready for that, to the point where he beat Shan so bad, Shan turned against the Juice crew because he was like, yo, you got my back. You know what I'm saying? And Big Daddy Kane was in the Juice crew during that time as well. And Kane didn't even get involved because Kane was like, him and Chris are friends.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, though. It was a reason he wasn't involved.
Yeah. So, I mean, you had a lot of people, man. Like, the Juice crew pretty much split down the middle after that. Dude was saying that dude was like, he was going to everybody. He went at Shorty, what's her name? Roxanne. He was like, she's good for straight, steady. Like, come on, dude. Like, what are you?
I don't think Chris was wanting that smoke with Kane, though. That's just my personal opinion. Y'all know when it comes to old school rappers, I put Kane on a higher echelon than everybody. But
no doubt. I think Chris wanted it though, man. Honestly, I think at that time, and even to this day, Chris wanted with anybody. I mean, he said it on a beef, remember the beef DVDs he's coming back in.
Yeah.
He said, yo, I got a disc for the top 10 MCs every year, just in case somebody want to get crazy. I mean, And I believe it. Like, I think Chris really sit down every year and write a diss record just to keep his pen sharp. And Chris he's the one. To me, he was the first one. I think LL was kind of there as well, and we'll get into that later on. But I think Chris was the first one that really took it there, in my opinion.
Yeah. When I think of battle rap, though, you're right. You're talking more so battle on wax. But when I think of battle rap, I think about the guys that was doing it on the underworld first. I think about my times, at the Grady Cole Center in Charlotte, and it's just that's what you got. You got a DJ, two microphones, two MCs, head to head. We finna talk our shit, and we finna see who come out on top. Like
Absolutely.
that is the essence of battle rap. That is the essence of hip hop competition, in my view. That is what hip hop needs. That is what hip hop loves. I was looking at some shit today, and they were, just listen to Jada talk about how he was sparring with Biggie on this very first track.
Yeah.
He's like, shit, I'm looking up to Big come in, and I ain't never met him, but he on our song, he throwing shots. So I have to come back and give him a couple of bars. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what battle is. Battle is the essence of hip hop. That is where you're going to get your competition. But competition also breeds success. It's iron sharper iron. You know what I mean? So I think it's a healthy thing, especially in today's battle rap form, the ultimate battle rap form. I think it's very healthy competition. You do see those guys talking a lot of shit to each other, but then afterwards, for the most part, they're going to dap it up. Every now and again, it's kind of like, we're going a little too left. But for the most part, they still are going to keep it respectful, and they're going to dap it up, and they're going to move on to the next battle. So I love the way battle is right now. So, but before we go on, what I do want to talk about is, I know you talked about Chris, but in your opinion, who is the battle rap that actually made an influence on the hip hop record side? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of cats for us to talk about. Just to name a few, in case people don't know, hey, the infamous Jay-Z and DMX battle. It's out there. You can see J portion. You can't see X portion because they didn't own anything at that point. So they wanted to make sure all cameras was off. But it's out there. We know Cassidy actually came from the battle rap world, and he made a very big, I ain't gonna say big impact, but he was the guy to make that shift. But then Meek Mill is the guy who put it into a new stratosphere, if you ask me. So that was just to name a few. Who was your guy?
Again, I go back to LL. Apart from KRS-One, I go back to LL because you got to think about it. LL was going at everybody. I mean, LL went at Ice-T, went at Kumo D. He went at Hammer. LL didn't care. LL, he called Ice-T a hip hop raccoon because because Ice-T had on the rat tail back then. And on the album cover, he was running over on Ice-T's Kango.
Yeah.
L was so disrespectful, man, that he was talking about Ice-T's wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was disrespectful. And he kept it on wax to the point where Ice-T wanted to murk him because he was getting so disrespectful. So I think, again, and you go back and you start looking at LL's track record. He crushed Ice-T, he crushed Kumo D, and he rapped about it a couple of years later, saying, crush Ice-T and Kumo D. I mean, he did. I mean, you can call it what you want to call it. LL crushed Kumo. And Kumo D, I was a Kumo D fan.
I don't know about that Kumo D, man.
What?
I don't know about that, bro.
Oh, my bad. My bad, Dre. Go ahead.
I just don't know about him actually crushing Kumo D.
Dre, he got Kumo. The same way he got, I'll put it like this. LL's consistency is what hurt Kumo D. The same thing that he did to Cannabis. It wasn't that he beat Cannabis bar for bar. It's just that LL's consistency is the thing that hurt Cannabis. Because, and here's the thing about the battle rap thing. Here's the thing about rapping against somebody on wax. You got to back it up with some good work. You got to back it up with a good album, some good songs. You can't just rest on your laurels because you may have won a skirmish in the battle. And I think that's what a lot of you know, the people, like I think Rebecca said about Roxanne Shante. Roxanne Shante was battling people left and right. I mean, she was going at everybody's neck at that time. But what hurt her was the fact that she did not put together a good body of work after the fact. You know what I mean? She didn't put together a great album to complement her battle rap against others, her diss against others.
But I think we've already talked about that. I just want to touch back on it. I don't think it was because of her talent level. I think it was because motherfuckers was really scared of Roxanne Shante. Because Roxanne came out and she came out swinging. When she won a fucking battle rap. And they said, no, because you're a girl, we got to give it to him. We can't let you come in here and dominate this nigga. Like, let's not act like she, like, you know, somebody said she did a very small percentage of battle rapping. That is very incorrect. Like, she was the essence of that battle rap culture at that time. The only problem was she was 14, 15-year-old little girl. Like, how the fuck we supposed to take this motherfucking serious? She was sitting up here 14, 15 calling us niggas, talking about get the fuck off and this is what she'll do. And you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, Pippin, get your ass in the house and go to fucking PS 149 or whatever the fuck y'all got in Queensbridge. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Nah. Right. And so that in turn, that hurt her career, especially when she started coming out and calling motherfucking female rappers out. Like that one song, she got one song where she went at every fucking female rapper in the game. And instead of them looking at it as competition the way that the guys did, they was like, nah, I ain't with this. She got to go. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what hurt Roxanne.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. She didn't, at a time when female rappers were coming together, she was on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And I think her diss records came out around the wrong time because it came out during the time when they were trying to show unity.
UNITY was popping.
Yep. And she was the outcast of all of that. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, she was never given, they never put their arms around her because she dissed the shit out of them on records. So why should I bring you on or keep you relevant if I'm Queen Latifah or if I'm on Yo-Yo, whoever who was popping at that time? And I think that's what hurt her the most because she didn't have no one to help her transcend as well.
I just think, and I think that's a loss for hip hop. It's the competition, man. Like at the end of the day, that's what this shit is. This competition, like this is why we love it. Those are the things that we look for. Like we want to hear those spars, like especially when you take somebody and you pluck them out the room that got the same ear that you and I have. Like I want to hear them subtle jabs, and I want to go and hear the artist that they was kicking it at, and I want to see if you got some subtle jabs. You know what I mean? Like you look at a song like what's that joint? Kick in the door, waving my 4-4. Like there is so many jabs at New York City. Period. Like we're not talking, you know, the ones that everybody knew Big had beef with or he had trouble with. We're talking about New York City. Like it's Nas, it's some Wu, Jeru the Damager. Like there's so many different. He even threw a little slight shot at Preem. Like, and this is his man's.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about DJ Premier.
And that was Preem beat. He was rapping.
Right. Son, I'm surprised you run with them. I think they got coming them. He's talking about Preem. You know what I'm saying?
He's talking about Nas on that one.
Yeah, he was talking about Nas but he was saying Preem because Preem actually gave the beat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Because he was upset that Nas and Ray became tight because Ray and Ghost was going at Big. You know what I mean? Big had like joints, you know, he was like, you know, throw bleach in your eye, now you brilling it. You know what I'm saying? And then you get Raekwon joint was like trying to throw bleach in my eye, you know what I'm saying? So it was always those sparring competitions that they had amongst each other. And you gotta think about it, man. Back then, I remember dudes who always talk about Wu-Tang back then. They're like, yo, you don't even know who's a member of Wu-Tang. Like you got the 9 members, but they're like, that's 50 other cats that's affiliated. You don't even know who they are. And I never understood that until years later when you start seeing Killer Army come out, and you know, all these other groups came out, but they all could spit. So it was one of those things where those guys were willing to battle anybody for like just hip hop supremacy at that time. And to me, that's why I felt like the 90s were the golden era of hip hop, because everybody was still cool, but it was like, if I get in this booth with you, I'm going to light your ass up. You're not going to get the best of me in none of this.
Right.
And that was, as opposed
So,
to,
no, you're absolutely right. And I think that is why we had, like you just said, that's why it was the golden era, and that's why we got the product that we got it, because everybody, I want you to shine. Like, come on here and shine, my nigga. But
right.
at the same time, when you try to shine, understand you finna take this L, you know. And like, I know we've touched on him quite a bit already, but I do agree with you. He's probably the most consistent person that come from the battle arena. But look at LL. Listen, man, like, hey, you say you want the mic from what? Like, nah, homeboy. Like, hey, step back and understand who I am and understand how I do this thing. I understand why I do it. And I think people really actually cared about their reputation as far as somebody shitting on you. And it wasn't all about, oh no, I gotta go shoot him up, I gotta go, you know, do this or do that, or I have to have some type of real beef with him. But at the end of the day, I'm supposed to say I'm the best MC. Absolutely. And that is why you got the product, because they always going to tell you they're the best MC, but they're also going to always try to back it up and show you that they're the best MC. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference in that era and today's era. But in today's era, we have a different platform. I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with Smack, URL, all of that good stuff. We have a different platform, and these cats, when they get on the microphone, they really spitting some shit. They're going at your neck, and it's going to be a lot of oohs, and it's a lot of ahs. There's a couple cats that people know more than others just because of the platform they're on, such as, you know, when Wild and Out was still popping, you had Charlie Clips on there, you had Hitman Holla, you had Sharon on there, so you had some spitters. Like, that's what them cats do. Even though, boy, I can't stand him. I think he's hot garbage.
What's that?
The little short one. What's the little short one? Huh?
That's his name, Disaster?
No, not Disaster. I don't like Disaster either. But no, the little short one that's on Wild and Out.
Yeah, I know he's talking about. I forgot.
Yeah, not a fan of his at all, but Khan, that's what it was. But, you know, because they have a different platform, they're able to get a little bit more views and a little bit more exposure. But that shit that you see on Wild and Out, where them cats be going back and forth, that originates from the URL arena. Who's your favorite battle rapper when we talking URL, not the industry joint?
Man, I'll be honest with you, man. I'm a Charlie Clips fan. I'm be honest. I'm a Charlie Clips fan. I've always liked Charlie Clips. I think that I respected him more when I see him go up against a lot of fan favorites in the battle, and he held his own. And to me, came out the victor in all those battles, because he started putting a spin on a lot of these battles where he know where route they were going to go, and he was flipping on them by the third round. He bringing it back full circle, and he was telling a story. And you could tell, the reason I think this guy is so talented, you can tell that he was building the story up in a freestyle battle. I don't think any of that stuff he was spitting was like premeditated. I think he was literally thinking about it as the other rapper was going on their turn. Because I saw a few battles where he was able to pivot. And I was like, damn, he really switched it up on Duke. And he was able to get in and get out and still stay on topic and wrap it up at the very end. Like, he almost did a song in just one setting. You know what I'm saying? In the battle rap against Duke. And to me, that's special. I think there's some other talented guys out there. Hitman Holla is another one. Tay Rock is pretty solid. But Charlie Clips is my guy.
That's fair. I would never have a problem with anyone calling Charlie their favorite. Man, my favorite, I don't know, man. I might be switching up, bro. I don't know if I can continue to deal with him. I think he's a heavy hitter. My favorite is Sue Surf, but if you don't know, that's Tsunami Surf. He's from Jersey. He goes in, but his problem of late has been, one, he can't stay out of trouble, and two, he can't remember his rhymes when he get on stage. I don't know what's going on. I don't know when did that trend really kick in for him, but it's been really tough. And since the pandemic, he had a what was billed to be a top-notch affair with Loaded Lux, and it didn't go well for him at all, man. Right. Like, I think he literally gave us in 3 rounds. He gave us maybe 3 minutes of spit, and so I was very disappointed. Only because you know me, I'm not a commercial type dude, and I'm gonna go up against the status quo. The status quo is Loaded Lux is the GOAT, so you know I can't go with that, and I really needed Surf to step in and demolish this cat.
Yeah, I think Loaded, man. I think his delivery and his confidence is what got him there. He won some battles in the beginning that gained him a little bit of notoriety. Then after that, you can kind of start seeing his swagger started to come a little bit more alive. Because I think he won some of his battles, man, just based off his swagger. I'm not gonna front. Because you take someone like Goods, right? Who I think Goods is a beast. I think Goods, I don't know what happened to him, man. It seemed like he just, I don't know, man. I think he kind of ran into the same thing Sue Surf ran into, man. I just feel like
we got different views on it. I think Goods is actually elevating as time goes on. I think Goods is actually elevating.
I don't know.
I say elevating would be him, in my opinion, him and Taylor.
Yeah, I can see that. How about DNA though?
DNA is like a weird guy to kind of gauge. You know, I forgot who said I want to say it was K Shine. He was like, I already beat the nigga that wrote for you, and he was talking about clips or whatever.
Right.
DNA is a very talented guy, and you can see it, especially when you put him on something like Sway in the Morning or Funk Master Flex, and he just go. I remember when he was on Sway, you know, they do the 5 Fingers of Death, and they were just calling out random shit for him to rap about, and that really showed his talent. I think when DNA goes into it and he doesn't have a pen, he's awesome. But when you put a pen in front of him and you try to make him work for those 3 minutes per round, it's going to be a tough thing. Unless he's doing his NWX thing with K Shine. Right. And it's like he really can bounce off Shine, and that's what makes NWX work so much. Right. Or work so well.
And I think that's why I feel like, you know, you got the guys like Math Hoffa, right? I know you don't like Math Hoffa like that. You're not a Math Hoffa fan at all.
Listen, cause he's garbage, man. Listen, Math is known for one thing: sneaking punches on motherfuckers.
Right.
Like that's it. And if you look at the way fucking T-Top annihilated him when T-Top basically told him the same thing, like
man, Clips got him. Charlie Clips got
facts.
Clips got in his ass.
Like, who hasn't gotten his ass?
Right. And that's why I was surprised when they did that whole commercial thing with him and Method Man, right? And to be quite honest, I think Meth got in his ass too.
Facts.
And Meth's not a battle rapper. Meth is just an MC. Meth is an MC. So let me break that down, because I don't think people understand the difference between an MC and a rapper. You know what I mean? MC is a master of ceremony. You know, a rapper is a rapper. And you got some rappers out there who Cassidy is a rapper, right? Because Cassidy can actually spit. When Cassidy blazed out Freeway, Freeway is a great rapper. In my opinion, Freeway is a beast, in my opinion. I think, you know, Freeway first album to me is a dope album. But when Cassidy blazed Freeway, you got 2 rappers going at one another. An MC is someone like a Jadakiss, a Styles P. Those are MCs. And the reason why I say that is because I know you and I talked about this earlier in the week, Dre. We were talking, last week, we were talking about why some of these rappers never transition into either mainstream or transition to make a good album. And that's because they're rappers. They're not MCs. They cannot put together a good body of work on paper or on wax, because either A, they're lazy with being able to put their bars in format, or they're lazy to put a structure around their bars. And that's the difference between a rapper and an MC. An MC can do all of that in the above. A rapper can just spit. And that's no hit to anyone who can spit, because I love lyrics, you know what I mean? But I think like the Math Hoffas, the Hollow the Dons, the Goods, you know, guys like that, even Conceited, those guys are rappers. They can actually spit. But you tell them to go in a booth and write a hot song, they can't do it. They can't do it. They're punchline fanatics, and that's it. They can't put together a good body of work.
Oh, but you know, and again, we're gonna go back. I think that's music. I think that's the industry's problem, the industry's fault. Because when you get somebody that's as raw as LL, and you listen to a song, I Can't Live Without My Radio. Yes, that's a dope concept or whatever.
Yeah.
But knowing where LL comes from and the things that he did, there's no way that he didn't do that without some tutelage. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody was in there turning the wrenches and saying, hey man, listen, this is what we need you to do. Think about this. Let's talk about this. This is going to be the structure of the song. That's what an A&R is for. They're supposed to be there to do that. And I don't think that these guys are being able to get that. I think the Three-Headed Monsters, they tried to receive that from Nick. So when they was coming at Eminem, I thought their disses were better. But I'm also a fan of battle rap, so I could digest everything that they were saying, and I could put it into that lane. Whereas most people just heard the beat, they was like, nah, it's kind of corny or whatever the case may be. But if you listen to them motherfuckers' lyrics, they were spitting some straight shots at M, and M did not want a problem with those guys because when he, especially talking about you're supposed to be a battle rapper, you know what I'm saying? We know how I feel about Eminem, so I ain't gonna give him too much credit. But if he's supposed to be a battle rapper and this is your era, this is your lane, you're supposed to step out of that. Like, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I don't care who you are, where you're at in your career. If this is your essence, you're supposed to step out and you're supposed to at least give one of them, you know, the business.
But if you're M, do you not give all of them the business?
Facts.
In one setting. If you're
Facts.
M, you know what I mean? People are saying that M is like top 5 or whatever. I don't see it like that. You know what I mean? But, you know, Stacks and Merv think that M is top 5. And I think Merv thinks he's like top 2 or top 3 or something.
I thought Merv said he was number 1. Merv said he was 1, and Stack said he was 2. Yeah. And Mark just said I just looking for the dope lyrics and dope beats.
The hot beats. Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't have nowhere around that. But again, he has a large following. You would think that, to your point, he comes from the battle arena. So you would think that he would go at all 3 of them to show how dominant he is as a lyricist. And I know that people don't too much like Cam like that, Cameron. But one thing I give Cameron credit for, if you say Cameron's name on record, you better believe he is going to dish you within 24 hours. He's going to come back with a joint and go at you in 24 hours. That's what you want. That's what you want M to be able to do. If someone says M name, it does, especially a rapper. Now, I'm not talking about Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears.
Britney Spears, yeah.
The ones he's comfortable battling. I'm talking about like
Insane Clown Posse and shit.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about battle rappers. You would want him to go at their head one by one. Just take them off. Hell, he lost to your boy Machine Gun Kelly. So I mean, and that's facts. You know what I mean?
I definitely agree.
Machine Gun Kelly got a weird beard. So I mean,
so and I want to throw a disclaimer. That's not, he didn't lose because of my dislike for him as an artist. He lost because Machine Gun Kelly gave him that business, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I think to your point, man, he should have won at those guys, without a doubt.
So does Jay? I know I'm gonna take some flack for asking this question, because I know your answer before I even ask it. Does Jay deserve any of the flack for this? Because at one point Jay got to it and he was like, I'm not returning shots to you little niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, what he say at the end of
like, you only get half a point.
Fuck y'all niggas. Yeah, like, and that was it. And he was talking to a lot of niggas.
Yeah.
It was a lot of niggas he was giving the business with that one line. So do you think Jay is the reason that we kind of got into that lull where it's not about competition? I'm focused on my money. Fuck y'all niggas or whatever the case may be.
No, I can't give that credit to Jay because I think, honestly, man, I think Jay had earned the right to say that. I really do. I think Jay had, by that time, you gotta think about when Blueprint came out, Jay was at the height of hip hop, period. I don't care who you are, either you hate Jay or love Jay. Jay was at the height of his career. He had just brought out Michael Jackson, God bless the dead, on stage. He had just dropped The Takeover. Everybody thought we all thought it was over. Yeah, I mean, it was like, that was the last level for him. Drop Takeover, you take out Nas, you take out Mobb Deep or whoever else. At that point, he earned the gravitas to say, I'm not responding to nobody else. Because keep in mind, X was going at Jay during that time. You know what I mean? All this happened in the same year. X was going at him. Jada threw some shots at him. South P threw some shots at him. So he had some true lyricists that were probably got in his ass. Real talk. And he didn't say anything. And let me be clear. I know people think I'm tripping or whatever, but Prodigy got in Jay's ass as well. It's just the fact that Jay was so strong at that time, it didn't get anywhere. You go back and listen to the HNIC album, he was dumping all over Jay on that album. But again,
I think it also sounded like hate though. At that point, because of like you now, that's where the status becomes a part of it. At that point, his status was up here, so it was kind of like, yo, right. I'm hating on him. That's what it sounded like, in my opinion. But go ahead.
You know, they had words for each other for years. You know what I mean? Prodigy wanted to, hit Jay with the ox for years. It just didn't beat up. Jay would kind of like either dip away or he would not bump heads with those guys because he knew those guys that Prodigy was running with, those guys, they were actually about that. So Jay would just still jab them and everything on record. But HNIC and Murder Music was dumping all over Jay. Straight up. Quiet Storm. All of that was dumping all over Jay. But Jay was such at a level that Prodigy wasn't strong enough. And at that time, no rapper was strong enough. Remember J.O. Felony? Remember that guy?
Yeah.
They weren't strong enough to attack him. So I think he created the aura that you see now, like the Eminems who feel that I'm so big, I don't have to respond to you guys, because if I'm responding to you, I'm giving you more light. Whereas back in the day, LL, Kane, all those guys, they didn't care. They don't care how small you are.
You gotta respond to everything.
Everything. And even Cam responds to everything.
Thanks.
He didn't care. No matter how whack it was, Cam would respond. Because he had several songs with this and Jay. And honestly, in my opinion, he was giving Jay the business in some of them joints. He was going overboard in half of them joints. But it didn't go anywhere.
Right. I got two rebuttals in the comments. Melinda said, I think Eminem rap based off his feelings. I do think he is dope, but he isn't a battle material. And you 100% incorrect, because battle rap is what he does. That was his claim to fame. His claim to fame was to step in the arena, say whatever he had to say, get the oohs and the ahs of the crowd. That's how his name got out in Detroit. I forgot the name of the little joint that they always talk about where him and Proof, would go up there and set up shop, because Proof was the actual host. Then I want to go to, I'm going to assume that this is Stacks talking. I don't know. I'm going to assume this is Stacks.
Of course.
But he says, what the hell does Jay look like coming for peasants? It's the art of competition. So anytime somebody come at your head, you're supposed to dead that shit right now. Like, that's just how it worked at that time. So that's why you can listen to Reservoir Dogs. You can hear Jay going at the Locks, and you can hear the Locks going at Jay. Like, simple shit like that, you just don't let slide. Whether it's on your record, whether it's on somebody else's record, whether it's with people you like, whether it's with people you dislike. That's why, hey, listen to Pop. Pop was, Jay-Z ain't really say shit. He threw some little subliminal shots about what was going on at the time. But nah, you fucking with Biggie, you want to talk some shit, I gotta dead your ass too. I want your head, I want Nas' head, I want Mobb Deep head, I want Ja Rule head, I want everybody. I mean, J. Rule, the Damager head, I want everybody in. Like, it's the art of competition.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When that nigga was like, don't one of you niggas got sickle cell or something, Mobb Deep really wasn't popular like that. They was gaining some traction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They were like hood. Mobb Deep didn't pop until Murder Music dropped. Murder Music was the first platinum joint that Mobb Deep hit. And I'm a big fan of Mobb Deep. You know what I mean? But you go back and listen to the Infamous. Infamous to me is a hood classic. Is it a global classic? No. It's a hood classic. And that's the whole thing with Jay. Jay was at a level where he didn't have to battle rap anymore. He didn't have to jab anyone anymore. Because leading up to the Blueprint, Jay was throwing jabs at everybody. Anybody who said anything slick about him, Jay was tapping them lightly. He was killing them. And He like, yo, think what that nigga shoot your fat ass at the cannons before. You know what I'm saying? To my blinky from home.
Hey, what Jahu say? Bleak nigga, I heard Blinky Bleak want to battle you and you scared. You hide.
Right. So, I mean, Jay was in a whole different zone at that time, man, where I think honestly he was untouchable, in my opinion. Like I told you before, when I heard the takeover, I was like, man, we done. Like it's over. But then the napalm bomb drop, ether, and you know what, the rest is history. But it's just one of those things where rappers like Jay, rappers like LL, Nas, you know, even if you go back and you think about Kane and you think about Rakim, like that battle that never happened. You know what I mean? They were on the cusp of having a battle. You know,
I'm fucking scared of Kane. I don't care what nobody say. Rakim didn't want that smoke. Chris didn't want that smoke. Nobody want the smoke with Kane. I'm trying to tell you, man.
I don't know.
But you'll listen one day.
I don't know, man. Let the rhythm hit them, man. They kept saying it, man. That was like Rob was kind of throwing some jabs out there, man. It was never confirmed.
Nah.
I don't know, man.
And the reason why I don't believe it is because if you ask, I've seen plenty of interviews and Kane, they be like, yo, what's the one battle you wanted? He wanted Rakim.
Wanted Rock, yeah.
He wanted Rakim.
Yeah.
But he was such a, laid back gentleman. He can't just come out, even though he was a laid back gentleman and gangster type dude, he couldn't just come out throwing shots at Rakim because at that point, Rakim was God. So you got to give me a reason to tap you. I can't just be out here trying to tap for show and for my name or whatever the case.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this, man, because when Jay and Nas beef kind of hit its height, between Takeover, Ether, and then Jay dropped the Super Ugly, Nas dropped Last Real Nigga Alive. Do you think that because people have credited their battle to a lot of main industry battles? Because after that, you recall, Dre, back in like 2002, 2001, 2002, 2003, it was like almost every mixtape you saw, it was a battle mixtape. It was like so many songs with rappers were finally going at each other throat. Do you think that they opened that door to kind of like say, bam, now it's time for everybody to start going at everybody else?
I think they did both. I think they opened it and closed it. They opened it for a new era. They opened it because this was the mixtape era, where beforehand it was either one or two ways that a battle was going to get started. It was going to be we in the park, like somebody said earlier, the old format. We in the park, we got the microphone, and we gonna talk our shit. Or it was going to be just strictly on wax. Right. And by wax, I mean an actual album, actual cassette, CD, or whatever the case may be. I think with Jay and Nas, they had so much material underground, and it gave them that point. And that's how it came out. And that's why you started having 50 Cent, his beats coming out on Who Kid tapes, or you had people running the clue like, yo, I got you. Drop this, or you had people running the flex, you better drop some bombs on this shit, or whatever the case may be. But then I say it closed it because their beef was it was a serious beef, but they wasn't going, I ain't gonna say they weren't getting out of hand because they, Jay got a little reckless when he started talking about, leaving condoms on the baby seat and shit like that. In my opinion, that was reckless, and this is even at that time when I'm a young cat. Like, yo, nah, there gotta be some pistols going off or something when you start talking like that.
By that time, he was done. I mean, when he got hit like that, dude went on home.
Yeah,
he went on Angie Martinez crying. He was like, yo, they try to kill him. Like, yo, he was hurt. He was like, and I know probably Stax probably was like, that's the worst comment I've seen ever on any podcast that we host. That actually makes no sense at all, to be quite honest. But, when they went to Angie Martinez and was literally like crying, like you knew after that it was real. You know what I mean? Like, yo, the guy who we felt couldn't get touched, he got touched.
Yeah,
and
got
he
touched.
Discombobulated. You know what I mean?
Touched.
Even Beanie said later on, he was like, yo, fam, he was in, Jay was just in the studio bouncing the ball against the wall. Like, yo, what I'm gonna do? Like I didn't see this coming because Nas didn't tell him that he didn't lead anything up to make you think he was going to drop ether. In every interview, and now I'm just done with that. I'm not responding to the takeover. You know, it is what it is. And then all of a sudden, the shit came out of nowhere, and Jay didn't see the shit coming. It caught him off. He wasn't prepared for it. So
that shit hurt me, and like I wasn't even like the biggest Jay fan. But if you asked me Jay or Nas, I was gonna say Jay. Yeah. And even I was like, all right, god damn, like okay, we get it. Biggie's your man. Now you supposed to be better than him. Get your dick sucking lips on. Like, whoa, Foxy only think you hot because you kept her face with her. Like, yo, chill. Like, let the nigga eat. Just let the nigga get you a burst. Like, come on, bro. Like,
he was like, you think you're getting girls? Because in the back, like, girls. Like,
yeah. I like shit. All right, Nas, we get it. Yeah. But with that, so we touched on how I felt like Jay was disrespectful.
Yeah.
Listening to some of the shit I hear today, I'm not a fan of it when it comes to the battle rap. I know before we got on, you and I were talking about they're finna do the Queens versus Kings URL edition. Yeah. And I'm not a fan of it just because of how they talk to women. Like, I get it. She in the arena, and she talking some shit too. Like, I ain't gonna act like, 40 ain't finna come up there and she ain't finna give you some real bars and really she'll have motherfuckers questioning whether they gay or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I get it, but at the same time, I think it goes too far. What is too far for you when it comes to battle?
I think that when you start talking about personal things that can get someone caught up, I saw it in the clips and the Math Hoffa battle, where Hoffa was sharing some stuff that he probably shouldn't have shared, and you can kind of see
about his pops.
About his pops.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw where clips kind of pivoted, and like I thought dude was gonna cry because he started spitting like that shit was coming from the gut.
I'm gonna say my mom is the gangster of my family.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yo, my mom was on, he said my grandmother was on the stand, say nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and he was spit because I know his story, you know what I mean, about what happened with his mom, his dad, and his mom, and everybody. Like, he come from like some gangsters for real. Like, don't get it twisted. Clips will shoot you, but you know what I mean. But I think that because they tried to get the oohs and the ahs, they went a little too far. And like you even mentioned, with this, they're going to do the Kings versus Queens battle. I don't think I'm looking for that because, to your point, I do think that someone is going to go overboard and they're going to get too disrespectful because I've heard it. I've heard some disrespectful bars when they had, a male going against a female or whatever. And I've seen where, like, dude, you probably shouldn't have said that. I get it. It's a battle. Gloves are off. Everything counts. But there's a line you have to be careful about. And I know you and I talked about this several months ago with the Drake and Pusha T thing, where a lot of people were split. Some were saying, yo, Pusha T kind of did some chatty patty stuff, you know what I mean, in his diss record to Drake, and to the point where Drake was ready to go there. You know what I mean? Drake ain't no gangster.
Was he really?
He's no gangster, but he was ready to go there with other gangsters, like real gangsters that he got on payroll. You know what I mean? Just because of that alone. And what's your boy named? Jay Prince was the one who put the kibosh on that. So that's why that didn't grow in the legs. But I think when you do stuff like that, when you bring kids involved and you start talking about, the kids, you talking about baby mothers and stuff like that, people that has nothing to do with the battle itself, I think that lack artistic creativity, because now you're taking it to a whole different level with the intent to be overly disrespectful, in my opinion.
So I don't think Loaded went too. I don't think Loaded Lux went too far with Calico. I think he was able to flip something, and let's not act like Loaded Lux came up with that scheme. All right, let's give Verb the credit that he deserved. That was Verb's scheme when Verb and Hitman decided that they was going to go at each other in St. Louis. If you don't know, Verb and Verb and Hitman are both from St. Louis. They did one in St. Louis. Verb at the end of his round was like, "Hey yo, Big Gerald," which is Hitman's dad. This motherfucker, he talking about some yes sir. He's like, that's how you talk to your son. So he stole that entire scheme from Verb. So that's the first thing. And then secondly, I don't think that Verb went too far just because like he was talking shit about his pops, but he wasn't diving into the things that he did. You know, he wasn't talking about the shit. Oh yeah, bringing out the coffin definitely was disrespectful. Yeah, that I agree. That was definitely disrespectful.
Yeah.
But then he was just talking about some things that his pop had left on the table by not being there or whatever the case may be. So on that point, that's why I said it wasn't disrespectful. But what do you think about? Because I listen, man. If you say it, you gotta deal with it. I don't think in this arena you can be apologizing, but then you have folks like T-Top. T-Top, unfortunately, when the young lady in Chicago, I think her name was Kanika Jenkins, he had a line. He was like, "Put you in the freezer like Kanika Jenkins" or something like that. He said something to that sort, and the GDs in Chicago did not like that, and they let it be known, like, "Hey, yo, you better check this." And because when you come to Chicago, we're gonna see you, or we might need to show up at the next URL and let you know who we are, whatever the case may be. But he apologized. When do you feel like apology is needed? Is it because it's some gangsters that's getting involved, or is it because it's supposed to be a real sincere apology?
I think it got to be a real sincere apology. I think, you know, going back to Jay, you know, he went on, I think on was it Funk Flex or somebody, he went on to apologize because his mother called him up like, yo, you're going too far. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? And even going back to Cameron, like I told you before, Cameron is very disrespectful. And he made a comment when he had the beef with when he was rapping against Nas, and he was talking about Nas' mother, and Nas' mother had just passed away.
But he didn't. I don't think he knew. If my memory concerned, he didn't know.
He said he didn't know, but it was, you know, it was like global news at that time. It wasn't like it was hidden or anything like that. And you know, he said he felt bad about it after the fact. You know, he said he made some phone calls, and this is in the heat of the battle when they weren't seeing it eye to eye, where it was talks about like if they were to catch him, it was going to be a done deal type of deal. And he was able to make some phone calls that end all of that. But I think you as a rapper in the battle, you know when you go too far. Even if you think about the go back way back to 93 Dre Day. You know what I'm saying? Like they had a whole video. You feel me? They had a whole video dissing oh boy. I mean, I
got a question. Because I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. I do not know, and I've researched this battle, and I do not know in that song. I know most people think it's just about Easy. It's not just Easy.
It's not just Easy.
What was the beef between them and Luke? I really don't know.
It wasn't none. Luke came out later on and said that it was no real beef with Luke. Luke made a comment about gangster rap during that time. And that was during the G-Funk era where gangster rap and G-Funk was like, you know, it's a West Coast thing. And the only thing Luke wanted to do was make music for the women in Miami. That's all he really And he made a comment. He didn't even say no name. He just made a comment about G-Funk and gangster rap. Like he was saying something like, is it really real? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they were like, Luke's bending over, so Luke's getting stuck. So, you know what I'm saying?
We say, Gap 2, see your mass on my dicks. Like, what? Like, come on, bro. Like,
also.
I feel like there has to be a line. I don't know, because I am, but I'm also the type of motherfucker like, yo, I'm gonna do all the disrespectful shit I can do. Like we see how I can go in SNS at times. So I'm gonna do disrespectful shit, but I still think there has to be some type of line.
And you know, I think Pac crossed the line a lot.
Facts. Oh, facts.
I think
that shit with Faith, he should have been dead.
That was when Hit 'Em Up came out. Again, man, I remember Hit 'Em Up. I had it on a white cassette. You know what I mean? And I was in basketball camp, and I had a white cassette playing that shit every day, all day. No Vaseline, to me, doesn't have anything on Hit 'Em Up. No Vaseline was crazy, but it was
No, because no Vaseline kind of fueled them thoughts. Like,
yeah,
nigga, is Easy gay? Like, because you got to think.
Yeah.
At first it was cool, but then I think shit. I don't even think it was a year later. It was like Easy got AIDS and shit, and you know at that time we thought you had to be gay to catch it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think in West Coast battle rap is different.
Yeah.
They go in and they don't stop until somebody dies. Unfortunately, until somebody attempted murder or whatever. And even if you go back and you listen to Tupac stuff, man, when he was really on his rampage, when he was dropping Hit 'Em Up, Bomb First. He was like Prodigy. One of you niggas got sickle cell or something. Like, yo, dude, like, what you doing? Like, he was just on some disrespectful, I don't care if you die slow. He kept saying die slow. You know what I mean?
My fofo gonna make sure all y'all kids don't, bro. Like,
ooh, it was so disrespectful that, unfortunately, it was his demise as well. And it wasn't even because of that. It was just because of the energy that he was putting out there, man. It came back on him, unfortunately.
And the fact that just wasn't him. That's something that I didn't like.
Right.
So my last question of the night, how do you feel about, okay, so we know like it's gonna be some shit talk at battle rap. Yeah. And here's what I have a problem with. Yeah. I have a problem with people, I ain't gonna say that they're actors, but in a sense they're actors. Like, we get it. You might tote, the tool or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, my job is to get up here. In order for Smack to give me these 20, 30 G's for this battle, I have to get up here and I gotta talk my shit.
Yeah.
And I don't like the crossover of, so when you have people, and let me be clear, I ain't no gangster, so I don't want no smoke. But at the end of the day, I can hold my own, but I don't want no shit. But when you have people like Trick get involved into the battle rap scene, like Trick really was trying to get at Shotgun Suge to the point that Shotgun Suge was scared to go to Detroit. And then, even though he went, when he found out he was there, he was like, okay, I am definitely not going to the venue. But then you have Sue Surf, because he knows that Trick is the way he is, he got his tool. And so he catches a gun charge in Detroit because he's taking a tool to try to protect Shotgun Suge. So at what point is it like, come on, man, leave the real gangster shit out of it. We get it. Because y'all niggas really ain't toting 40 goddamn choppers and trying to split a motherfucking head off. It's just raps.
Yeah. I think it's the crews. It's the people that surround them. You know what I mean? I don't think it's the rappers themselves. I think it's more so the crews. If you go back and you look at the Game and 50 Cent beef, right? And you look at, Game dropped like 4 or 5 daggone albums, man, where he just going directly at G-Unit, 50 Cent, like to the point where it was just nonstop. I don't think it was a lot of him having to do with that, but I think it was also the crews. And I saw something, I can't remember what it was. I saw something on it was a documentary, and it was talking about hip hop beefs and everything. And they were saying how a lot of times the crews are the ones who get everything escalated. And I remember thinking back to even the Prodigy wars what he had with everyone in Queensbridge at one point. And a lot of times it wasn't even Prodigy. It was like the guys he ran with. It was the guys that he was beefing with whoever, with Nas or whoever. It wasn't them two. It was the actual crews that represent them. You know what I mean? That would collide, because you want that little man on that crew, he trying to get some points. And I think that's what happened with Pac. Pac hold energy. A lot of times his crews, man, the outlaws and the offspring of the outlaws were the ones who was fire starting things, man, getting things static when they went, when it was going at Bad Boy and everybody. So I don't think it's the rappers, Dre. I think it's more so the crews, man, getting a little bit overboard and getting everybody hyped up more than they should.
I can see that, and I understand that. I just listen, man. At the end of the day, I'm just a fan of lyrics. I am a fan of talking that shit, and I get it. Sometimes you might have to back that shit up, especially if you go in there and you start talking about folks' hood. Motherfuckers, they, before, I knew of Nip, but the only album I had listened to before his passing was Victory Lap, to be honest. But, in these battles, like, hey, man, Geechee Gotti, he's a Crip. He's a Crip down in Compton, and they talk shit about the Crips on stage. Like shit like that, I understand because those folks, they're not doing this shit for likes, shares, money, or whatever the case may be. This is what they breed out in LA. This is what they breed in Chicago. This is what they breed in parts of New York City. So I do understand you have to be mindful of certain things that you say because some real gangster shit is really gonna come at your head if you fake and perpetrate. But I just wish people would just look at it as we want them to look at it, and that's just music. Because what we don't like is when they take someone's lyrics and they want to use it on them in court. So if you don't want that aspect of it done, let's be mature, and on the aspect of them talking their shit, let's not try to hold them accountable then.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But going back to your boy Gucci and Jeezy, you know what I'm saying? Like how that spilled over. And it wasn't directly for them two, it was more so about the things that surrounded them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's another one of them different type beefs and battles because you know, at the end of the day, somebody lost their life, and one of them was on trial for it. So
exactly.
You know. But yo, man, I enjoyed the show tonight, man.
Indeed.
What kind of shout outs you got for the people, bro?
Man, shout out to the guys, man.
Thanks.
Still got some things in the pipelines right now that we're working through. We're gonna be back at you guys on Wednesday night. Got the retro review, Mace. We got to double up this time. We got Mace and we got 112-second album. Merv is the one who actually put together those two albums that drop out to us. So we're gonna be talking about that on Wednesday night. The guys, Merv and Stacks featuring Mark, they will be airing tomorrow night. They're trying to get everything ramped back up for the next series of shows. They're gonna be doing recaps and reviews on. So shout out to those brothers as well. A lot going on, man. We got a lot of stuff we need to dive into on Wednesday, of course, as we all come together. And to salute to you, my dude. I mean, you had a long week last week, took a week off. You was getting blessed by some Marines out there. So you know, you got a little shine on you now. You look a little different. You know what I'm saying? You talking different. You know what I mean? You walking different. Good.
Hey, we're not gonna do this, all right? So, yo, I want to give a shout out to the guys as well. Make sure y'all tune in Wednesday. My co-host, he's an asshole, but he's a good asshole at times. I want to talk about you. I was talking about Sean. You know, but yeah. So we definitely enjoy this show. We definitely enjoy all the engagement. And once again, as always, make sure y'all check us out on Facebook Live. Y'all check us out on YouTube Live. Y'all can check us out on Zingo TV. Y'all can check us out on the 1 Mile High Network. And like Sean said, hey, we got some big things that are going down the pipeline. So we got some things that we're trying to shape and we're trying to move and we're trying to make happen. I am disappointed that my other 3 co-hosts are such jackasses and that you all have to sit through their shit on some Wednesdays. But I am here to save the day. I would use my platform for good, you know, and good only, and prosperity and positivity. Absolutely. But without that, you know, hey, salute to you, my guy.
Indeed, my dude. Peace.